find some sort of harmony and balance.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? BC here. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being, the podcast. We're back. For those of you watching the video, you'll see a little bit of a different background. We're in the middle of transitioning the studio stuff to a different location. And we're going to finalize the setup that we have because of the in-person podcast coming soon. If you're not aware, right, I'm on trainings and sales calls every day now, right? I've been, training, coaching, teaching for a very long time now, whether leading my team in real estate, whether it's my coaching programs, right? And I have multiple tiers now, all the stuff that I've been doing now because I focused on it, helped it grow. And thanks to a lot of your support, it's really expanded. And I find myself more and more training on Zooms and that kind of stuff. And today in particular, right, I was on a sales call with some of my team on the back end of Team BC University, right, which is the coaching and training platform that I have. And we discussed a lot today in the hour and a half call that we had, right? A lot of deep dive training on certain things and systems, but then other concepts, right? And one of the concepts I wanted to cover with you guys today, this simultaneously in my description and in my eyes is what makes what I offer to people unique. But at the same time, it's something you need to understand as a listener because this is really kind of the code, as simple as it sounds, and we'll kind of deep dive on this podcast. This is like an understanding that you really need to run with, be aware of, and then constantly work at every single day, okay? And it's this. When you look at even like what I'm in, right? You could say primarily I'm in the real estate industry, right? Most people that you study, most people that you listen to, right? When you analyze it, you're going to say, okay, everybody has their own flavor in regards to the basic stuff, right? And if you're watching on video, right, I'm going to lift up my right hand and my left hand. So this right hand that I have up right now, it's typically what most people believe is the key to success, what they need to learn, the main point of focus, right? And kind of how they judge people in a way. And what is that? We think of like the systems that you use for the business, whether it's entrepreneurship, real estate, or whatever, the scripts, right? All the nuts and bolts, we can call it, right? And we believe that we need to just look on that realm and I need to find the right one. Now, in reality, that stuff you can find, it's readily available, and there's really no legitimate high value in that, right? Those are the tools and nuts and the bolts. Yes, they're important, 100%. But really, everybody's kind of playing with the same thing when it comes to that. They might have their own little twist on it, a few little tweaks, but virtually those systems and all those things stay the same. And I want people to understand because like when I come to the world, my team, or as a trainer or as a coach, that's not what I charge you for. The value that I base what I teach isn't in that. To me, I could just hand that to you, right? But this is the key. The other side of it is what people really need to get. You may have heard this before, but do you genuinely understand it? Can you observe it? And are you aware of it? Because there's a big difference. Then are you actively working on it? The other side of it is the individual. And now the individual is composed of so many different components, right? And people want to ignore this or make it like secondhand, like, whatever, just give me, right? And I'll make the point very clear. These are two distinct things. And this is why I focus so much on this side, which is the individual, right? All the things here on this side, the scripts, the systems, the nuts and bolts, right? If I have the same individual, right, and we run two timelines, right? We're going to split this person into two timelines. One is how they are and how they stand as of today, right now, okay? Their current belief system, work ethic, confidence level, right? However, in your mind, you would categorize how you rank the person, do that right now, right? And you could even look at yourself and say, okay, I'm right here. My willingness to work, right? My confidence, my work ethic, right? All that basic stuff. My emotional intelligence, my emotional state, right? My ability to take criticism, my ability to handle rejection. Like, I mean, we can go on and on, but I'll keep it simple, right? Now, that second timeline that I created, let's say, just for the sake of the example, that I magically decided to work with you for a year straight, strictly on your transformation as a human being, working on all those things. Forget the business, the systems, and all that stuff. And I just worked on developing you, right? Making you more emotionally intelligent, making you stronger, more confident, a better speaker, a razor sharp communicator, all these things, your self-esteem, right? Your belief systems, your philosophies. I just work with you every day, 24/7 for a year, right? Now, if we run those two timelines, right, and we give both of those individuals We give both of those individuals the same nuts and bolts, right? The systems, the scripts, like all this stuff. Like, here's my real estate business. Here's a blueprint. All you need to do is plug and play. Go. You're off to the races, right? And we follow them for a year. I would ask you, right? If you're watching on video, you can comment below. If you're listening on audio, shoot me a DM or just answer in your head if you want to. Which one do you think is going to get better results? Which one do you think is going to get farther? And which one will have achieved more than likely more of their goals or potentially exceeded them? The one from present day or the one that I've worked with for 1 year on the inner evolution, personal development, whatever you want to call it, whatever word or phrase sounds best to you. Okay. Now, I know the answer. The answer is obvious to everybody. Because whether you substitute me or whoever your favorite person would be or someone else, there's no doubt that the second person who's developed is going to get farther, right? So the point is this, right? The systems and all that is independent of this. Meaning, if I give you better information or different information or any of this information, right, it's limited to the development and the ability of this individual to execute and utilize those tools. Meaning, it's not directly proportional. They both go up at the same time. It's indirectly, but only one way. It is limited to the individual and their capabilities and their development, because that directly influences the results that you can get with the same systems, tools, and nuts and bolts, period. And that is an indisputable fact. I'm living proof of it. My students are. A lot of people out there in the world that have kind of understood this, or maybe someone else is teaching it with their students or whatever, or maybe you've kind of realized this and you've been able to understand this. There's no denying that. So I'm not playing with everybody else on this side. Yes, I have all that stuff, but I don't even focus on it. Because to me, do you have something that works? Yes. Fantastic. Now let's focus on the other one. I know that makes me unique and certain individuals on this planet, but I want you, more importantly, to see that this is the key. What are you doing? You, you, to get better. How can you make yourself better to utilize the tools already right now available to you to maximize them? Why is it that I'm doing a webinar this Friday on how to make 7 figures with just your phone? Like with this phone. You would be surprised on how many deals I've done just through a cell phone and what I've done. If you forget, before everything was shunned and demonetized and deplatformed for me, my original YouTube channel broke over 100,000 subscribers while I was still just using my phone to make videos. The first couple years was only a phone. I blew up on Instagram, all that stuff initially with just using my phone. My first couple deals, aside from going door to door, was using my phone. I've done so much with this thing. Yet this is the bane of most people's existence because they just consume, and they get lost on their phone and they spend 12 hours screen time and they don't do anything. What would allow somebody to utilize this at the level that I have to make $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, and the next person who wastes their life on it and plays video games on it mindlessly 24/7? Well, it's the difference of the internal wiring of the individual, right? Now, I don't want to sit here and give you 50,000 examples of the same thing, but the point is, one must become aware of these things and say, okay, where am I at in this process? Because when I was a new up and coming entrepreneur and real estate agent, I learned very early on this lesson. I remember my broker at the time, right? David Sarinian, a shout out to him, right? Mad love and respect to them, and Century 21, a better service there in Downey, California. He told me, he didn't teach me too much in this, but he mentioned, he's like, it's all between the ears, bro. 95% of this business or entrepreneurship is mindset. And at the time, right, I'm, in my late 20s, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Whatever, dude. But about a couple weeks in, I hit a wall one day where I was just being a little bitch. I was complaining. Oh, man, I'm putting in so much work. This is bullshit, right? All the stuff I tell you guys not to do. I had my moment that day. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details of that, but at the end of the day, I just said, man, what did I do today? I just wasted today bitching and complaining. Nothing got done. This doesn't, and then it clicked. I was like, David was right, dude. I need to look into this thing and not just say it's fluff. True, genuine evolution, education, personal development, not the fluffy motivation bullshit that you see on YouTube and everywhere. That doesn't do anything for you, dude. I'm talking something like, how about you take a basic assessment of your current beliefs and philosophies in all these categories that you're tackling? How about diet and fitness? What is your current beliefs and philosophies? And write them down. Maybe you think eating meat is good. Maybe you think it's wrong, right? And those two people debate. What do you actually know, though? Have you looked at the other side's research and argument and yours and then compared and contrasted? Then have you added your own experience? Have you tested these theories yourself? Have you talked to other people? How about in finances? Do you think money is the root of all evil or not? Do you understand the creation of money? Do you understand that it's one of the most ethical ways of trading between people and most ethical forms of exchange? Maybe you disagree with me. I don't know, but then you would have to tell me why and bring receipts. You see? But this is what I'm talking about when I say the individual needs to change, because how I view money, how much money I make and all that now is drastically different from 10 years ago. And that was a process that I embarked on right away because I had issues when it came with money. And I realized if I want to make a shitload of money, if I want to get somewhere financially, this needs to change. I think broke, I act broke, I talk broke. That has to change immediately. And I need to figure out a way to do it. Reading, going to events, paying for stuff, like I had to figure it out. Even something as simple as, wow, it's sad that instead of paying $5 to valet my car or park it in the front, I'll drive blocks away and then make fun of the people who pay money when my loser ass just had to drive 4 or 5 blocks away and spend 5 or 10 minutes walking when I could have just gave $1 or $2 or $5 to stay. How silly is that? Yet I'm over here thinking I'm going to be a fucking millionaire and make a couple $100,000. No, those are two different mindsets and belief systems. And the guy who's just trying to scrape every penny, I get it. I've been there, bro. That's how I was raised. But the one who's doing that is not going to be rich. That's the type with that type of mentality that will win the lotto and then lose it all and be in debt in a year or two. You've seen the stories because it's internal. It's not an attack on the person. It's an attack on the belief system. It has to change. It must change. But see, that all boils down to the individual, because then we'll take two individuals. One will listen and be, oh, that's cool. And then they just resume life as normal. Well, nothing changed. You didn't get shit. Versus the other one who now is like, oh, damn. Okay, they immediately buy a book, then they sign up for something. Like, that's the person who's begun this process now to change. That is independent of these tools and nuts and bolts that I was telling you about. 100%. But see, that's all on the individual. Then comes upgrading your environment, getting the right people around you, getting the right coaching and mentorship. Like, that's a natural evolution of what I just described. Right? And shout out to everybody who's actually a current student of mine, because many of you are getting tremendous fucking results. I'm so fucking happy for you. But you're on this process as I was 10 years ago, and I continue to be on now. But see, the point that I made initially, a lot of people don't focus on it. You keep, and this is also what the marketing companies and people know, they'll have you focus. No, it's just the nuts and bolts and this and that. And they keep selling you that shit, and you keep buying different shit, and you don't get anywhere. You have to come to the realization that it's not that. You need to change first and foremost. Then even what you currently might have that isn't getting you results after you change may start to get you results. I would actually put money on that. Why is it that the methodologies that I use have made me millions and other people say it doesn't work or it's outdated? Even though they don't even really know. A lot of people from the outside, they say that without really knowing it, right? But how is it that people have come and claimed that even doing something like using social media or making phone calls and going door to door doesn't work? I'm living proof that it works. I can get somebody who's new and within 30 days, 60 days in the real estate business, working with them as their coach or their team leader or whatever. I can have them making deals, going on appointments, getting contracts signed and making money. I don't care who you are, where you're from, if you're a man or a woman or what you think about your confidence. I can do that if you will listen to me and you will take these steps. Guaranteed. That's what I can do. Because I focus on the individual. I will transform that individual inside and out, guaranteed. You can't help but transform around me. It's impossible. But that's what I focus on and that's what I teach. But for you, that needs to click up here first in the importance and prioritization of that. Because if that doesn't change, man, nothing will change for you. Or you'll have change, but it'll be very minute. It'll be very, oh, well, I went from making 20,000 to 30,000, which again, inherently just the amounts, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you desire more and you're falling short, then you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. But again, the marketing, the people, they want to run towards, oh, this new script or this new program or this new thing that I can sell you. That's not that, dude. You need to change. And this is why everything that I've done, whether on these free platforms, but especially on Team BC University and my coaching, focuses on transforming the individual and making them beasts, making them better. That's what we do. And that's why my students get tremendous fucking results day in and day out, over and over, and it gets better and better and better. And I'm proud to fucking say that. I'm proud to say that. Because I don't care how much you fucking censor me or shun me, you're not going to stop that. Because the people that I'm around, whether again on these platforms or in person or whatever, will be touched. They'll start to see these things a little bit more and they start attacking it. And that's what it's about. Because that's what I started doing 10 years ago. So when the individual comes to this realization and say, oh man, I really got to get my shit together. Literally, right? Okay. Now it changes. Now the obsession and focus becomes that. And now you're on that mode. Now you'll start doing it. You'll start finding the right people. You'll start taking the right steps, right? To make this transformation. And that's a beautiful part of the process because that's the turning point, we can call it. Boom. But for every individual, right? Unless they have the right influences or whatever it is, or they go through their own life events or just inherently, this is what I believe, come to a decision. It's going to be very difficult. Right? But understand and see it for what it really is. With what you have currently now, if you made yourself better in certain categories and just overall better, you would already be able to make more of what you currently have. And that is an indisputable fact. And the better you get, the more you can do with very little. And you need to identify, what do I need to work on now? What needs to change? Hey, I'm in the real estate industry. It doesn't work that I don't have confidence. No one's going to want to work with you. No one's going to want you to represent them if you're not confident. Well, work on your confidence. What is it going to take? Well, you need to figure it out. Because again, just the nuts and bolts, the new script or listening to a video, that's what everybody does. It doesn't work. You need to do something about it. It needs to be your mission now. I'm going to be mega confident and nothing's going to stop me. And when that mode is activated, you turn into a different individual. You start really going after what you want. Obstacles become nothing. You figure a way out. You become very resourceful and you start tapping into the potential of the human being, which is beautiful in itself. Okay? So in closing, because I don't want this to turn into a rant, which a lot of them do, right? I get into this shit. I want you to recognize that distinction that I made and ask yourself this in closing. If I was better right now, how much more could I do with what I currently have on my plate or what's available to me? Because then when now you get better and better and now you get more and more, now the game really begins. Okay. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. This is Supreme Being, the podcast with BC, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. All right. All the links for everything we offer is in the description below. Peace.